going on, everybody? It's your boy Keenan. Welcome to today's NFL blog. The 2012 NFL season is going to kick off this Wednesday between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, before I get into that, I would like to talk about what I will be doing this season. For each week of the NFL year, I'm going to actually give you all the matches of the NFC Conference, as well as a couple of AFC, NFC Interleague conference games this week, each week of the NFL season. And I'm just going to really focus more on the NFC side. Now, for today's blog, I'm going to talk about the first game between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. This is going to be a great game to watch and another grudge match that you must see this week. Probably the game of the week so far of this of week one of this season. Now, I'm going to start off with the New York Giants coming off winning the Super Bowl last season over the New England Patriots. This is a great team, and the thing I love most about this team is their leadership. Start with their head coach Tom Coughlin. He ended up actually giving them a big quote for them. One thing that he needed to focus on, which is he called it build the bridge. That's the quote that he's going to be using this season, and hopefully this is going to be some inspiration and motivation to get back into the Super Bowl and win a second consecutive NFL championship. I like this team a lot. Now, on the offensive side, they got a great quarterback in Eli Manning. He's actually well over the shadow of Peyton Manning becoming an elite quarterback. He actually dropped that interception ratio he had last season. The year before, he had over 20 interceptions 2 seasons ago, but last year he had 15 interceptions and 29 touchdowns. He's a great quarterback, one of my top quarterbacks this year for fantasy football, and I think he has the chance and the potential to become one of the top 3 quarterbacks. He's an excellent leader, passed for over 4,000 yards in 3 consecutive seasons. Now, on the defensive side for the G-Men, they have a great D-line with Pierre-paul, Justin Tuck, and all-pro defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul, who finally emerged. A lot of people questioned him being that first-round selection for the G-Men 2 years ago in the NFL draft, but he ended up emerging last season, and I think this is a great rotation of that D-line. And even the defense overall, they have a lot of tough players, and they have a lot of good bench players who can actually fill in the rotations for every position on the defensive end. The only thing I'm concerned about Wednesday's game is Prince Amukamara. He's actually expected to start this season at cornerback for the Giants, but he's actually suffering a high ankle injury, and he might not be able to play this week. Now, on the offensive side, going back to the offensive side for the Giants, they have an outstanding receiving core, especially with the emergence of Victor Cruz. Had a breakthrough season last year, but I'm a little bit concerned about his teammate Hakeem Nicks. He's dealing with a toe injury, but he spoke over the past couple weeks with confidence that he will play on Wednesday. He's been still dealing with a couple of soreness on his toe, but I believe, and I'm bought into his speaks in his press conference last week. He's really 100% confident that he will be available for fantasy football player teams out there, and he will be available this week to play the Dallas Cowboys. Now, heading over the Dallas Cowboys side, this is a good team, a playoff potential team, but last season they had 4 key losses in which they ended up dropping comebacks, and I really think they need to settle everything the problems that they had. The reason why they allowed teams to come back is because of the lack of the ability of the offensive line ended up slouching over coming into the 4th quarter, and the defensive backs, that secondary of the Dallas defense, they ended up flopping coming towards the end of the game. Now, over this offseason, they actually bulked up that defensive backs, especially with their first-round selection of Morris Claiborne, the cornerback out of LSU. He's a great cover corner, and Dallas actually traded their way up to steal this kid. This guy is an excellent cornerback, great cover corner. I think he has the ability to even help stop the run, but I think because of his great cover skills, some people actually believe that he's better than both Patrick Peterson and ex-teammate Tyrann Mathieu. I really think I'm starting to buy on a little bit more of Morris Claiborne. He had excellent cover skills last season for the LSU Tigers, 6 interceptions, and I think he could do the same in the National Football League. Now, for the offensive side, One thing that I'm really concerned for that offensive team is their receiving core. Starting with their tight end, Jason Witten. He suffered a spleen injury in the first game of the preseason, so he's likely out this Wednesday against the New York Giants, and this is going to be a tough loss because this was Tony Romo's #1 favorite target in Jason Witten. That's going to be a big loss. Also, there's a couple of off-the-field issues with wide receiver Des Bryant. If he gets in trouble again, he will most likely be suspended. So he needs to keep clean and keep out of the outside picture off the field. He just needs to keep everything clean and be out of the spotlight. And I think that's going to be key this season. He needs to get his act together and start maturing. And that's one thing I'm a little bit concerned about the Dallas Cowboys. Unlike the New York Giants, they kind of lack that full leadership. And I think that he needs a mentor. Des Bryant's going to need a mentor this season just to stay out of trouble. Also, his teammate Miles Austin, he missed all of preseason due to injuries, but he should be available on Wednesday, but I don't think he's going to be 100%. He might take a rep or two, so for fantasy football play, I really think that you should bench Miles Austin this week. Another player that they missed is Laurent Robinson. He was one of their leading receivers last season. He actually signed in with the Jacksonville Jaguars, so that's a big void that they need to fill in over for Laurent Robinson. So that receiving core is a little shaky, but Tony Romo is still a good quarterback, 31 touchdowns last season, but without Jason Witten, I'm not really feeling that receiving core for the Dallas Cowboys. But staying on the offensive side, they have a good running back in DeMarco Murray, who a lot of people, including myself, believe that can rush for over 1,000 yards this season, and he believes so himself. All he has to do is just stay healthy. He's a good all-purpose player, and Tony Romo will dump some passes towards his direction. Now, for this matchup, I'm going to have to go with the New York Giants because I have too many negative thoughts about the Dallas Cowboys. They have too much going against them, so I'm going to have to go with the Giants in this one. I think Eli Manning is going to end up emerging and having a big game and lead this game to a victory, just like they did last season, in which Dallas lost both those two matches and missing the playoffs. So I think I'm going to have to go with the G-Man. Just too many bad things about the Dallas Cowboys, especially during with the offseason and that receiving core. I'm not 100% sure how they're going to perform this game, so I'm going to have to go with the G-Man. Now, I'm going to give you a quick fantasy football tip going back to Jason Witten. A lot of people are concerned he would definitely be out, and a lot of people have been asking me, who should they replace Jason Witten with? Now, I did a lot of research on NFL.com, ESPN, Yahoo.com, and I noticed that one particular player was actually a free agent, and percentage-wise, 70% of the leagues did not actually left one particular tight end, which I'm very shocked, as a free agent, and that's Greg Olsen, the tight end of the Carolina Panthers. A lot of people did not select him in their fantasy football teams, and I wonder why. I don't get it. During this preseason, he was actually Cam Newton's one of his favorite targets, and I think with the chemistry that they're already having, I think that they could be due for a good matchup for this week. So you should definitely replace Jason Witten with Greg Olsen, and I think he could have a good week replacing Jason Witten, give you some good, decent points, probably from the 7 to 10 point range. Not that bad. I will take that at the tight end position. Might even make it over double digits. He's a good tight end, and I think he's going to get a couple of targets headed towards his direction. So to replace Jason Witten, go with Greg Olsen, or if you have any other questions, please just put it in the comment at the bottom of the screen, and I will get back to you. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys is on Thursday to talk about the remaining games of Week 1 of the NFL season, heading towards the NFC Conference games. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Pro Football Exclusive. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.